Get that silly woman. Okay, so now you can lie back to semi-supine again. So just giving yourself that few moments just to allow the shoulder blades slide down the back to just bring that sense of connecting into your practice. And every time I come to my mat, and I'm trying to use it in my everyday life as well, I feel as though I'm going to try and ground. Now that might be if I'm standing through my feet, if I'm sitting through my sit bones, but here we are in semi-supine, having my brick at the ready if you've got it. Just easing down to ground through, feeling the weight at the back of the head, the heaviness in the back of the shoulder blades. The weight of the arms as the back of the arms lengthen to the floor, the back of the hands. And then potentially inviting a little bit of weight into the sacrum and of course into the feet. So just give yourself a few seconds just to bring your attention to your breath. There's Cal coming in, well done. So just a little bit like we were last week, we're going to start with a bit of breathing, or should I say structured breathing, because obviously you're breathing all the time. So all I'm going to do is bring in a little bit of Viloma breath this morning. So Viloma breath, Viloma just means interrupting. So we're going to interrupt our inhale. We're going to take it into 3 parts. And then we're going to do a full part exhale. So this inhale, we're going to start in thirds of breath. So you're going to breathe in part of your breath, a third. Take your arms to the ceiling. Breathe in the second part of that breath, taking the arms to the side. And then breathe in the third part of the breath as you bring the arms overhead. And then as you exhale, I want you to lead with the back of the hands so that you're guiding the arms back down to the sides of the hips. So you're probably going to be a bit speedier than that to get the arms and the breath in. So it's third of the breath, arms to the sky, third arms to the side, and of course a third bringing the arms overhead. And then one full exhale as you slide the arms back down towards the hips. So just do a couple more of those. Just noticing the way the breath moves within the body. So what you may find is when the arms come to the ceiling, that your breath is moving to the front body. When your arms go to the side, the breath moving to the side. When the arms go overhead, the breath moving into the top chest. And then fully extending the arms back down to the sides of the hips as you breathe out. So hi to Emma and Abby. So let's just take one more time. Breathing in to the thirds and breathing out, easing the arms back down to the side. From there, I'm going to bring my attention this time to the left side. And as I exhale, I'm just going to slide that left knee into the chest before inhaling and taking the heel to the ceiling. Once I've got my heel to the ceiling, I'm just going to draw some circles with my ankle in the air, just to warm up that joint, get rid of any clicks and creaks. And then from there, I'm going to exhale, extend out, through that left leg, lengthening it out of the left hip joint, and then from there, releasing the left arm up to the ceiling and all the way overhead. So you've got this full extension through the left side. I'm just reaching through the ball of the left foot, through the left fingertips, but keeping my right foot on the floor. Okay, this time I'm going to leave my left arm overhead, slide on the exhale my left knee into the chest, inhale, take my heel to the ceiling, and as I exhale once more, lower that leg out of the side of the hip to extend and lengthen it. I'm saying side of the hip, kind of above the hip really, below the rib cage. And then from there, I'm just going to slide the arm back out to the side, bring the left foot back to semi-supine, ease the arm all the way down to the hip, and then we'll just change sides. So I'm going to breathe out and take my right knee to the chest. Breathe in, extend the heel to the ceiling. Draw some circles in the air with that right foot, so just easing out into the joints of the ankle and in the opposite direction. And then from there, point through that foot, extend and lengthen the leg out in front of you. Finding that length, almost feeling the attachment here to the base of the rib cage. Exhale, sliding the knee back into the chest. This time, inhale, take the heel and the arm to the ceiling. And as you exhale, extend, right arm, left leg, right arm, right leg, reaching all the way out into that full side stretch. Okay, do that one more time. Slide the knee into the chest, keep the arm overhead, reach the heel to the sky, and as you exhale, pointing through the ball of that right foot, extending out so you've got this full side stretch to the right. Keep extending on the right, slide the left leg out to join the right and bring the left arm overhead. So you've got a full body stretch going on. And from here, reach all the way through the left side. So you feel this kind of sliding of the pelvis to one side and then change and reach all the way through the right. So it's like you're climbing this magic cosmic ladder, reaching right side to left. And then the next time you reach through your right side, I'm going to get you to slide the left heel towards the sit bone, level the pelvis and bring the left knee into the chest. Okay, so bring the hands around the shin, have a little squeeze. Now, just as I've not prepared you, so I just want you to prepare and get your bricks ready. I'm just going to spin around so that you can see me better. So I've got my left knee to the chest, my brick is handy. I'm popping my left foot onto my right thigh and I'm going to slide my right arm out in line with my shoulder. I'm going to do an osteopath twist from here. So as I exhale, I'm going to turn and twist to the right. Dig that right heel and twist a little bit more to the right, tucking the right hip under. You know this one really well. Now I always think when I do this, I've tucked my hip under, so I should be in a level position. But if you from here, keep the left leg where it is, slide the right knee under the left knee, you'll find that they are not even, that they're not stacked. So from here, I'm going to use my brick to help me stack them. I'm going to pop the brick, skinny side, in between my thighs, and I'm going to slide this left hand over onto my left shoulder. So I'm just touching my shoulder with my left hand. I'm going to take a couple of circles with the elbow at that position, just to ease out any tension in that shoulder. And in the opposite direction. And then I'm going to come into my much loved somatics movement here. So I'm sliding my right arm out in line with my shoulder. And as I exhale, I'm going to slide across the chest, across and down the right arm, and then move the fingertips beyond the right hand as I turn my forehead into the floor. And you can get quite far beyond your right fingertip. It shows you how far your reach is. From there, I'm going to inhale, change the movement so that I can stroke the inside of my right arm with my left fingertips all the way across the chest. Try and keep my knees stacked. And then as I exhale, I'm going to stroke back down the arm all the way and beyond. Now, I'm going to pop something a bit different in there. I'm going to keep extending with that left arm, and then I'm going to bring the left arm into a kind of diamond shape. So it's the hand, the left hand, will be underneath my third eye as I turn my chest into the floor. So I'm hoping you can see what I'm doing. I've still got my legs together, but the bricks between the legs. But I've turned my chest into the floor and I've got my hands in a diamond shape away above my head. Okay, now if this isn't bad enough, you can add into this by reaching into that right arm, bringing the left hand in front of the chest, picking up the top leg and seeing if you can touch the toes behind the bottom leg. So I'm just kind of opening through this side movement here, and then I'm going to fold it back, bring the head back to the floor. So I'm inhaling, pressing into my left hand, bringing my left leg behind my right leg, and as I exhale, I'm going to fold it back. Woohoo! Bit different. From there, I'm going to keep turning, and I'm going to eventually end up onto all fours. So I might have to shuffle that a little bit. Might be a little bit less graceful there. From here, as I exhale, I'm going to lift my front body up towards my back body. I'm going to let my head relax. Feel that release at the back of my neck. Reach forward from my fingers, bring my bottom to my heels, and release my forehead down. From there, favourite position. Chest towards the floor, elbows wide and pick them off the floor. Once the ears reach the thumbs, draw the elbows in, but also imagine there's a string attached to your collarbones that is lifting those collarbones, that top chest up and forward. Okay, take another time like that, reach into the hands. Lift the front body to the back body, bring the bottom to the heels. Release out, drop the forehead to the floor. Well done. Now get that chest as close as you can to the floor. Almost if you're trying to touch the chest to the floor. And then let the elbows go really wide. And then draw them in really tight towards the side ribs to pick up that upward facing dog. And then from there, you're back into your neutral spine. From here, I'm just going to cross into my ankles here, potentially to roll back into sitting, and then give the legs a little shake out in front. So if you didn't get to do that, don't worry. So I'm coming back on my spine, so I'm going to roll back down to the floor, bring my knees to my chest, and we're just going to change sides with our twisting movements. So this time I'm going to extend my round. I'm just going to make sure I did a different side. Let me, just bear with me, just so I don't get it wrong, as I usually do. Okay, yeah. So I brought my right leg in. So this time it's left leg in. I hope you agree with that, is it? Left leg into the chest. Okay, so we're going to start with left knee into the chest. We're going to take left foot onto right thigh. Slide the left arm out in line with the shoulder. Hoping this is the right movement. Actually, no, it's not, you know, so just change sides again. I want to make sure I get it right. It's right knee into the chest. Get it right, Jules. Foot onto thigh. Arm turns out to the side. Turn and twist. Tuck the hip under. Osteopath twist. So you think you've turned as much as you can. But then when you bring the bottom leg under, you realise that the right leg falls far short of the left. So you're going to bring the brick in and stack the legs. You're also going to bring the right hand fingers to the shoulder, and you're going to take some rotations in that right shoulder. And in the opposite direction. And then from there, you're going to take that left arm out in line with the shoulder, and you're going to stroke across the chest, down the arm, and beyond the fingertips. So again, just notice how far beyond the left fingertips the right hand can extend. Keep those legs together. Inhale, stroke back across the left arm, all the way across the chest and over to the shoulder. And then as you exhale, stroke back all the way across the chest, down the left arm and beyond. And because you're starting to turn the face into the floor, this moves us into that next move. So I'm going to bring my right hand into this kind of diamond shape, press into the right hand, and then change so that both arms are into this diamond shape and my forehead's on the floor. So my elbows are roughly in line with my ears. I'm going to spend a few moments just releasing my shoulders, releasing the side ribs. And then from here, I'm going to come onto my left elbow and bring my right fingertips in front. From there, I'm going to press through that left elbow, lift the top leg, and take the right big toe behind the back. That's my inhale. My exhale, bringing my arms back down, bringing my forehead down. If you feel you can keep a little bit lower with the chest, please feel free to do so, but don't force it. They can either be up or closer to the floor. And then bring the knee back. Release the forehead down. Do one more time. Make sure that I've explained this quite well. That's it. And then from there, once you've completed the next one, release your brick. Come on to all fours. And just take one more angry cat position, reaching all the way through the body, sliding the bottom to the heels, and then dropping the forehead down. Move along the mat. Draw the elbows into the side ribs to lift the top chest. And then come into your neutral cat. From here, cross the legs again if you can. Sink back, bottom to the floor. Gosh, look, the sun's come out so much. I'm going to have to move out of the sun. So, I've got to position. I'm going to mirror you today because it just makes it easier for you to see what I'm doing. So I want you to take your right leg in front of your left leg in this Sukhasana position. So I've got the legs crossed at the shins. My feet are quite narrow. Now that's going to feel a little bit odd because sometimes we're very good at taking the feet and the knees quite wide. But I want you to have the tubular bells seated position. If you're too young to remember the tubular bells, look it up. Great piece of music. So I'm going to get you to bring your bricks, or you can use your hand, to the right side of your hips there. From here, I'm going to place the lower part of the right arm onto the brick, lift the left sit bone. From there, lift out of the right side, but also slide the left arm alongside of the face or the ear. Keep lifting so that you're lengthening through that left side, and then just gently start to lower the left sit bone down to the floor, gradually. So that you're creating this space into the side of the ribs, but not just on the left side, also keep space on the right side. Also, don't allow this elbow, this right elbow and right shoulder to slide up to the ear. Try and keep the space there. Now this is a huge side stretch. So to come out of it, I'm going to get you to ease forward on your fingertips over your right leg. So you're facing your right knee. Then we're going to bring you into this position where we walk the hands forward. Now I'm not going to lie, this is not a comfortable position for me. So if it is for you, then we're really lucky. So you can either have your hands on your thighs, that's one option. You can have your hands on the floor. Or what I find helps me is if I bring that brick in front and I kind of roll it. So I'm rolling it in front a little bit more. I'm going to keep my top chest lifted, and I'm going to see if I can really try and relax into my hips to soften into the hip joints. Feel the flex of my feet. Smile when I sense the sensations in my hips. And this is one of those positions that I found never becomes without sensation. And I think it's because of, we don't really squat very much. We spend time sitting, cars, desks, those kinds of things. So just take a couple of breaths, feeling that sensation. And then from there, ease yourself back to the centre, so either with the brick or with your fingertips, so that you're sitting up tall on your sit bones. And then we're just changing things around again. Going to keep your right leg where it is, but release your left leg out. It's going to bring you into this kind of what we call, well, it's kind of like a seated tree position, isn't it? So from here, we're going to do a couple of movements, a couple of side movements. The first one is vogue. So I'm going to get you to take your right arm up towards your ear. Gaze towards the arm as it slides behind the back. Pop the hand to the floor, onto that right knee and the left big toe, and slide the left arm alongside of the ear. We've done this one before. See if you can really lift up with the side ribs. And then from there, release that that left arm forward and down. Come back to the middle, and this time bring the knee up to the chest. Okay, so right knee to the chest, right foot to the floor. You're going to use the right arm this time to come across the body, and the left arm's going to come behind the back, and you're going to reach into the right foot and come onto the left little toe side of the foot. That's it, you've got it. Keep trying to lift the hips and then release back. Now the good news is we're going to do that one again because we're going to bring in another side stretch where we're reaching towards the inside of the left leg, maybe even picking up the left big toe. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change my positioning a little bit so that you can see me better. So you know the first move, you're going to swoop the right arm alongside of the ear, you're going to reach into the left hand, and you're going to lift up into that lovely extended position. Lovely job, brilliant. From there, you're going to drop down with the bottom, but you're going to move forward with the top chest and the arm. Now you could potentially at this point wrap that top arm, that right arm around the right shin and see if you can bring the hands together. Or you could have used your belt, of course. So if you've got your belt there, you could wrap the arm around and use the belt as the extension for your arms. We don't do this one very often. It is a classical yoga posture. And if you're doing it in something like an Ashtanga practice, you'll be taking it into a forward bend from here. Interesting, huh? Okay, from there I'm going to get you to inhale, to release out, and then just using this same leg, I'm doing a lot of side movements here, so keep that same leg, but this time pick up the right foot with the left hand and have a little rock of the baby. And then see if you can take that right ankle or heel towards the left hip. And you see I've got my right leg crossed over the top of my left leg. That's it, good, good. So you can do one of two things here. You can sit up tall. You could clasp the hands and bring the arms up alongside of the ears just to make sure you are lengthening through the side body. Or you could start to connect to the hamstring by releasing the arms, dropping the shoulders, and just moving forward kind of inch by inch. So as you exhale, you're going to extend the arms and the body forward. You're going to feel the hamstring kick in. Breathe in, and then as you breathe out, take it a little bit further. Breathe in again. Breathe out, lengthen. Well done. Now at that point, you can say, right, I've had enough of the arms. I'm just going to bring them down either side of the leg. I can feel my hamstring. Or you could start to release your ribs onto that top thigh. You can even pick up the foot if you feel that's part of a movement for you. Ooh, it's a good one, isn't it? Fantastic. Well done. Okay, inhale, release out, ease yourself back to that seated position. And then from there, let's just notice the difference that brings to the legs. I'm going to undo the right leg initially. It's going to feel longer than the left, which is good. What I'm also going to do is swing the legs out to the side so that I can ease myself into either an extended child position, which again I'm going to feel it on that side, or down facing dog. Just so you can check out what a difference these movements can make to the sides of the body. You'll feel that right side is much more linked than the left. So we're going to change sides. So again, a little bit of a variation. Bend the knees, walk the feet towards the hands, and then cross the legs and sit down. Okay, so this time I've changed the cross of my legs. So I want you to bring your left leg in front. Have your brick at the ready by the side of your left hip. You know what you're doing now. So if you haven't got a brick, you can use the hand. Bring the hand to the side. Turn the rib cage to the right. Slide the right arm alongside of the ear. As you take the side stretch, and this is where the brick helps, you're going to try and lift the left sit bone. You want to create that space through the waist. Then gradually you're going to release that sit bone down to the floor, feeling this kind of opening through the side waist. Deep breaths. And then from there, full side stretch. Ease it forward over your left leg. and then forward over both legs. So either hands on the thighs, hands on the floor, hands on the brick, lengthening into those hips. How's that going? Yeah. Remember, I feel your sensation. You know, you can get to a point perhaps where you can kind of hang out with the elbows on the floor or the elbows on the brick. It's never without sensation. Good. Okay, from here, inhale, release up. Seated position. So remember, you're going to keep your left leg where it is. You're going to open your right leg out. Good. First movement is our Vogue movement. So we're going to take our left arm behind, gaze to it, bring the right arm alongside of the ear, and take that lovely side extension. Brilliant. Now try and lift those hips. Don't let the hips drop. And then as you exhale, you're sliding forward back to that movement, but you're bringing the left knee up towards the sky. So we'll do one kind of rehearsal of this movement. So this time though, you can press into the left foot. So you're going to lift the right arm, take it behind, press into the big toe of the left foot, and slide the left arm alongside of the ear. Now, you've got a big lift in the side body here. And release. Okay, we're going to do that again, but this time with the option of binding. So I'm just going to turn to face this way so you can see me. So I'm going to do that same thing. Stretch up to the side. Push off of my left big toe. Makes it very, very nice. It's almost like a wild thing position. And then as I exhale, I'm going to lower down. Stretch my left arm forward inside of my left leg. Turn my arm, if possible, around the front of the leg and see if I can bind there. If I'm bound, take a few deep breaths. Use the strap if you want. Or if all of those feels absolutely impossible, just keep reaching towards the right big toe. That's good. It's not, if this way you're going to say to me, it's because my arms are too short. I've got short arms, Jules. Good. Okay. Breathing in, release out. So as I turn back to face you, you're going to pick up this left foot with your right hand, and you're going to do a few of your rock the babies. And then from there, you're going to cross that leg. So the left heel is moving towards the right hip joint. Now this is another position that we can do against the wall. So if you find this really helps your hips, what I quite like is to do legs up the wall and then cross one leg in front like this, yeah? This is certainly going to be one I'm going to take skiing with me if I get to go skiing. Because it really, I picked it up from a girl that runs professionally in the hurdles. So it really does get you to think about extending your stride. And then we're going to take the arms up. We're going to clasp the hands. Then you've got that option of undoing the hands and starting to move forward. It's a good runner stretch. A couple of times, maybe just to the point where you feel, right, I've got the hamstring, but my arms are not really adding anything in. So I can bring them down. They're not benefiting the movement anymore because they're just bringing tension to the shoulders. And then you can maybe get deeper into position with the arms being more dangly. So from this position, you're inhaling, releasing through. You're going to open that leg up. Give the legs a little wibble wobble in that Dandasana position. Swing the legs around. Come into your extended child pose. Maybe beginning with the forehead releasing to the floor, but then coming onto the fingertips, lifting the forehead off the floor. So you've got this long extension through the body. I'm on my fingertips in Hasta Bandha, lengthening out. Maybe I can walk my arms a bit forward, further forward than I think. So, you know, if you want to get those arms long to make that bind, you've got to really work these side movements in the side body. Okay, from here, downward facing dog. So whether you're in extended child or downward facing dog, our next move is going to be a bit the lizard position. So I'm going to reach my right leg up towards the sky, three-legged dog. I'm going to slide that right knee into the chest and try and put the foot outside of my right hand. I've got a wide extension in this lunge. My hands are going to come inside of my right foot. Now I can stay like this, but I need to commit the crown of the head and the shoulders forward. So I can't stay back here. I want to commit to go forward. Now, some people find it's easy to commit with the back knee down. I'm just going to move myself back a little bit so you can see me better. And you might even commit enough that you can ease your elbows onto your brick. So again, you can have knee lifted, knee down, toes tucked under, toes flat, all of those options. But you try not to lift that right heel off the floor. So you've got to stay connected with the right leg somehow. The shoulders relax. Now this sets me up for another hamstring stretch. So I'm going to ease my hands onto my brick. I'm going to lengthen back. Now my bottom is not going to come towards my heels. It's going to lift up to the sky. And I'm going to walk back with my brick again so that I can keep my chest lifted and lengthen it into that hamstring movement, curling my right toes up towards my leg and trying not to shift my hips too far to the left, which is very tempting. Lovely job. Okay, ease forward again. Release the hands, this time down dog or extended child. Again, just checking out the difference. Remember, getting the heel down in down dog is not about forcing it down. It's about releasing the muscles that hold it up. And I'm sure you can feel that you've released something in the right side, but not yet in the left. So let's change that. Take the left heel into three-legged dog. Slide the knee to the chest, exhale, and then step the left foot outside of the left hand. So set yourself up for this lizard position. Hands inside of the left foot. Remember, you can keep the knee lifted, you could drop the knee down, but above all, you're committing to lengthen forward. So you might find that you can soften the elbows and rest the rib cage on the elbows. You might find that you can bring your brick in and you can bring your elbows onto the brick. All of these things are possible. But keep that sense of connection with that left foot. And to a degree, and there's lots of ways of doing this, we sometimes take the leg wide, draw it in. I'm drawing it in today. I'm moving my inner thigh so the left knee is moving towards my shoulder. Take some lovely deep breaths there. As we call this gecko, sometimes lizard. Okay, well done. From there, come onto your brick, slide back, come onto the heel of the left foot, even if you have to readjust the leg a little bit. Keep your chest lifted. Brick just gives you a little place to put your hands, doesn't it? You could put them on the shins, you could put them on the floor. Nice, lovely job. Okay, hold it there. Couple of breaths longer. And then from there, ease out. Down facing dog or extended child. Check out how that's feeling. And then once you've done that, we're just going to come into standing. So if you're in down dog, walk the hands back towards the feet. You're going to find yourself in a very, very interesting forward bend. So I am so far forward today because of that movement that I'm actually going to pick up my elbows and let my head hang so that I'm lengthening out my lower back. And rather than straighten my legs, I'm going to lengthen my heels to the floor and lift my sit bones. Subtle difference to locking the knees out, and we're going to explore this in just a tick. Okay, from there I'm going to bend my knees, take my hands to my shins, flatten my back, and then from there I'm just going to ease so that I get my hands onto my thighs. So I've still got this length going on in my back and my arms are straight. And this is just an idea of how we work the thighs. So we're going to be working on Trikonasana, triangle position. So I want you to keep your right hand on your right leg. Bring your left hand onto your left bottom, left sit bone. Now you can either just rest it there, or you can do what I'm doing and pick up the material of your trouser or your pant. I'm going to slide my right knee forward and I'm going to lift the material of my trouser leg so that it lengthens this left leg, but I've not locked my knee out. What I've done is I've activated the thigh muscles and lifted them up into the hip joint. Just turned a little bit to the left as well. Okay, and then I'm going to change sides. I'm going to release, bend my left knee, keep my left hand on the left thigh, bring my right hand either to my sit bone or pick up the material of my trouser leg and lengthen up with that thigh. So really feel the thigh muscles active, firing up. Hold it there for a couple of breaths. And we're going to be working this in Trikonasana as well. Okay, release out. From here, lengthen both knees forward so you feel as though you're doing a bit of a cat stretch. And then reach the arms up through chair pose, all the way up into standing. And then take the arms out to the side and release them down. So you're in Tadasana position. I'm just going to change my camera a little bit. I love Trikonasana. I think it's a really beneficial position if it's done very effectively. Let me just have a little slurp of water. So we're going to move through it in a way that hopefully will explain what the movement's about. So I'm going to start with my feet wide, toes turning in, heels turning out. Now if you notice, I just want you to notice this in your body. When you stand in this position, your pelvis is level. Now with the pelvis level, the muscles that support the pelvis and the legs, including the psoas, can keep these legs toned. So just have a little feel of these top thighs. They're going to feel quite active. Yeah? Okay. So from there, I'll mirror you again. You're going to turn in your left toes 30 degrees, turn your left heel out, and you're going to turn your right foot to 90 degrees. And make sure the right heel is opposite the back of the left instep or the left heel. And then as you bend the knee, what is tempting to happen is for the pelvis to tip over. Now it's not wrong, by any means, it's not wrong, but if you just take your hands to your thighs now, you might find that if the pelvis is tipped like this, they're not firing up effectively, especially this inner thigh on the right leg. It's a little bit lax. As soon as I level my pelvis, something happens and I start to activate into that inner thigh. I'm not going to go all anatomical on you. Just notice. Okay, from here, keep your right hand on your right hip. Keep this right shoulder blade back. And then slide the left arm in line with the left shoulder. I've got my palm facing you. So I'm going to come into the position I call stop the bus. So as I exhale, I'm going to extend over to the side. Yeah, trying to stop this bus, trying to reach beyond those parked cars. And then I'm going to bring that right hand onto my shin. And I'm still keeping this left shoulder back. In fact, to the point where I'm going to bring my left arm out and I'm going to wrap it behind my back. Okay, I'm going to turn to show you my back here. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up the material of my yoga trousers, yeah, on my sit bone here. And then instead of locking the back of the knee out, I'm going to make the movement come from this top thigh. I'm going to lift my thigh muscles and wrap them around the leg until that leg extends, until that right leg lengthens. Without locking this knee out. Nothing's going on here. It's all happening up here and at the front of my thigh. And then I'm in that position that I can take my opposite arm and point it up to the ceiling. Go for it. Now, because I've got this position in place, there is a possibility that I could keep sliding that right hand down my right foot towards the floor. But I need to make sure I'm not going to roll my left side forward. So if I start rolling that left shoulder in, I've gone too far. I need to back off and keep my top chest open and lifted. Now the head's always an issue. So turn your head to gaze down at your right foot, lengthen and commit through the crown of your head, and then turn the top chest up to gaze to the ceiling, and the head will turn with it. It still might not feel brilliant, but it's the way you should practice. So you're supporting the head from the back of the shoulder blades. If it doesn't feel great, just keep looking at the right foot. Okay, from there, bend into that right knee. Ease back to warrior 2, and then counter pose with reverse warrior. It's tough. You know, these positions really activate these legs. If you can do something without effort, as in muscular effort, chances are you're creating a shape rather than lengthening into your inner body. Okay, release the arm down. Turn the feet back to parallel. It's having the correct muscular effort without overdoing it. It's that balance all the time, isn't it? Now, as we move into a forward fold here, instead of bending the knees, which is very tempting, try and think about lifting the fronts of the thigh muscles up towards the hips. And you can do this with your trousers. Yeah, you're going to have no trousers left by the end of the class. So you can lift up with the front part of your yoga trousers, and that will lift those muscles. Move forward to a flat back, keep lifting. Bring the hands eventually underneath the shoulders. Yeah, then start to bring some weight into the balls of the feet, and then before you know it, you're able to release into that forward fold. But my legs, so my upper body is relaxed, but my legs are active. I'm reaching into my feet, I'm lifting those thigh muscles. Whew. And then from there, I'm going to come out the way I went in. Now, just to make it a little easier on my back, I am going to bend my knees to come out. I'm also going to walk my feet in a little bit, and then I'm going to bend my knees, so I've got some support going down through my feet, because now I'm moving against gravity. You know, if I'm going with gravity, it's much easier than coming against gravity. Okay, I'm Sailor Salmon back to the middle. Give my legs a little shake. Hope this is making sense. So let's try the other side. So we'll take our wide leg position. First of all, we know we've got toes turning in, heels turning out. Insteps lifting a little bit. Inner thighs active. Buttocks toned. All is what should be. Turn out your right heel here, right toes turn in. Left foot turns to 90 degrees, and just check the feet are in the right alignment. And then from there, as you bend into that left knee, if the hips tip, it's not wrong. It just means that you've lost a little bit of activity on the inner thigh. Okay, so for today, have the hips level. Take the left arm out, and you're going to stop the bus here. You're going to stop the bus. But I'm holding back, pulling back on this shoulder. It's a side stretch, remember. Then from there, I'm going to bring that left hand to the front of my left shin. Keep sliding this right shoulder back to the point where I extend the right arm out. Then I'm going to slide that right hand to the left buttock, pick up my trouser. Imagine it's your thighs, it's your muscles of your thighs. And you might even find that as you send the thigh muscles up into the buttock, that you have to turn that right heel out a bit more. And then from there, you're committing with the crown of the head, and you're extending the opposite arm to the ceiling. Okay, well done. Now less is more. So if you feel that you've rolled that right shoulder forward, back off. You know, there's nothing wrong with having the hand just above the knee in this position. It's still triangle, it's still Trikonasana. But it's coming from the legs. The more power you bring to the legs, the more release you'll get in the upper body. Good. Lovely job. Excellent. And then from there, we'll ease out. Power through the legs to bring us back into Warrior Two. Turn the left palm to face up and reverse out of that warrior, just as a counter pose. I always just feel a release in my shoulders when I do that. Okay, from there, turn the feet parallel. Take them a little bit wider this time. Toes turning in, heels turning out. That's so that we can activate the legs. From here, think about lifting up with the front quads. So you could actually do it with the whole of the front body. Sometimes we do like a little chest lift, don't we? So you could lift with the chest, lift with the front quads, and then extend over. It's all coming from my legs. I'm lifting my bottom, lifting those thighs, and then the release is through my upper body. So any variation of forward bend or anything else that you can do, absolutely cool with me. Try not to sunbathe. Try and keep active with those legs. Ooh, well done. Okay, from there, inhale, ease out. Heel to the feet in a little, bend the knees, working it up against gravity, stretch up. And then from there, Seela Sam, back to the centre. And just take those few moments just to feel that length in your body. A little release off of the neck, maybe. Good. Okay, so we're just going to finish back off on the floor. So from this position, I'm just going to roll forward. So I'm going to bring my chin to my chest, softening my knees, release one vertebrae at a time, working with gravity, see? Head leads all the way to the floor, back onto all fours. And just as we complete our practice today, we're going to go back through angry cat, bottom to heels, and then that long limbed extension. So head is relaxed between the arms. I'm on the fingertips. And then from here, I'm going to walk my arms over to the left. So I'm back to that side movement. And then if I try and walk my right fingertips forward a bit, eventually they'll end up on top of my left wrist. And then I can rotate my rib cage to the right and have that lovely side seam stretch gazing under my right arm. Very nice. Well done. And then release. Back onto the fingertips, walk the hands back to the centre, and then just change sides. Just notice which side you feel you've got more length out of. Doesn't mean anything, it's just interesting. Eventually end up with those left fingertips on top of the right wrist. And that spiraling of the upper body to gaze up into the top or the inside of the left arm. Hold it there for a few breaths. Feel free to lift the fingertips higher, get more space. And then eventually ease back. Hands to the floor. And to complete, we're just going to take the knees wide, big toes touching. And we're just going to rest the forehead on the fists. Let the shoulders soften. Let the top chest release. Take some lovely deep breaths. Well done. As we ease through into our relaxation, I'm going to get you to begin with internal hip rotation. So if you need warm clothes on, please feel free to do that. Otherwise, you're going to come onto your back. You're going to have the feet wide so that you can drop the knees in towards each other. Now, I'm a bit of a, I like a bit of comfort. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my brick, or you could use a cushion, even more comfortable. And I'm going to pop that between my knees. So I've still got the same movement. My heels are turning out, my toes are turning in. But for me, this just feels more relaxed than having my knees together. And I guess it's because, I don't know, I guess it's because my knees are now hip distance apart as opposed to together. But it's what works for you. Just because it's more comfortable for my body doesn't mean it is for yours. So always investigate this stuff. So it's absolutely cool to stay with this posture. It's a lovely one. Or I'm going to use it as a journey to Shavasana. I'm going to allow my nervous system to fidget for a little while. Fidget around with my feet, with my back, with my shoulders, my neck, my head. And then once I've fidgeted and I can find this stillness, I'm going to enjoy the stillness for a few breaths. Then you can either stay here and just continue to enjoy, or what I'm going to do is take the brick out and I'm going to let one leg extend. Now it's interesting, I'm not going to let it come into the midline, it's slightly turned out. So this is my left leg. I've slightly turned out the leg of the hip joint, and my left foot is rolling out to the left. So this version of Shavasana doesn't suit everybody. It's always worth trying. Okay, once I've done my left leg, I could either do my right leg and see how that feels, or I could go straight in, do both legs. So my legs are a little bit wider than I would regularly take for Shavasana. But they're both relaxed out to the side. And again, I'm not saying this is the be all and end all to end in this position. It's about you. So if your Shavasana means having the legs closer, or taking support underneath the knees, or semi-supine, or internal hip rotation, it doesn't matter. They're all great positions. What matters is, can you find stillness? And if you can, what is it you have to do to find stillness within your body? You can't switch off the kids or the dogs or the builders. I've got. But what can bring stillness within you? Can your body still? Can your mind still? Now I'm just going to give you a few minutes there. I haven't disappeared. just going to give you 5 minutes or so just to investigate the possibility of linking in to a state of internal stillness. So as we come to the end of this 5 minutes, remember, don't beat yourself up if you didn't find internal stillness. It's a practice. I was reading an article yesterday that said that in one day in the 21st century, we are stimulated more externally than our ancestors would have been in a whole year. That's a lot to take on board, isn't it? That we are permanently being bombarded with external stimuli, and the amount of it is phenomenal. So from here, we're just going to ease it into a lovely old stretch. Reach into all that stimuli. It's not bad, it's not good, it just is. Just means that the discipline of being able to quieten is more challenging. So from here, slide the feet back into semi-supine, one by one, ease those knees to the chest and have a lovely ease out of the back. Perhaps keep the knees together and circle the knees so that you're just massaging out any areas of twitchiness in that lumbar spine. And then from there, ease over to the side, fetal position. And then press yourself up and into seated. Good. It's good to see the sunshine, yeah? From there, breathing in, gather all that lovely energy around you. Gaze up to the thumbs, and as you exhale, seal that practice down through the third eye to the lips and the throat and to the heart. Well done. Thank you so much. Please feel free to unmute yourselves. It says Abby's looking like, what's that igloo man?
An Eskimo.
There's a name though, isn't there? There was I don't know, a famous cartoon character.
Oh, don't ask me things like that. I'm hopeless with things like that.
Thank you, Jules. Thank you.
Lovely to see you guys.
Thank you, Jules.
Thank you.
Bye.
Have a great weekend.
Have a lovely
Enjoy the sunshine.
There isn't any here.
Oh, I'll send you some.
Yes, please.
It'll come.
Bye.
Bye.